What's going on, guys? I hope you are well and warm, kick and knit fly today, baby, because we're doing something a little bit different. Today, I'm gonna be doing a product review and durability test on the Controller 69 Pro. ACINFINITY revolutionized the game with the Controller 67 and have only expanded their dominance with the Controller 69 Pro. I'm gonna check it out, I'm gonna test it, and I'm gonna put it to the ultimate durability test for garden equipment. Guys, welcome to Pigeons Reviews. ACINFINITY really revolutionized the game with the Controller 67, being able to dial in your humidity, your temperature, and connect to a wide array of devices was a first of its kind. Since then, ACINFINITY has only expanded their universe, including humidifiers, air conditioners, heaters, humidifiers, now all capable of plugging into the Controller 69 Pro. I've had this in my garden for a few months, and I have to tell you, between the app integration plus the KPA, the VPD, humidity, temperature controls make it incredibly easy to stay dialed in to your garden no matter where you are. The Controller Pro is very easy to use. You really just have to go hands-on, and that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. So welcome over to my propagation tent. This is where my controller spends the majority of its time. As you can see, I have two items plugged in. I have a fan plugged in, which you don't actually know that by looking at the dial, but I plugged them in, so I know. There's a fan in this one, and the humidifier is in this one. As you can see, they're both set to 0, so they're both off. I can change that by increasing the speed, because you can see the dot, I'm next to the second one. That's increasing my humidity. I'm gonna turn it down so that I don't soak up my seedlings. On the next one, if I wanna select which device I'm on, this one's for all of them. This one's for the first device, there's the second device, and if I had a third and fourth device plugged in, I would just press it 2 more times. Select which device you want to manipulate. For me, let's manipulate the fans. I currently have it set for a schedule. This schedule is blinking because it's set to go off in 1 hour and 2 minutes. You can continue going through the settings of each device by this button here. So as you saw, I could turn it on or off, go through the high temperature, the low temperature. So what's the extremes you want, which high and which low of the temp. Same thing for the humidity, which high and which low. I like to set them in the range of my low humidity. In my propagation tent, I don't want it too much lower than 80%. So that's about where I had it set. Same thing will go for the timer. Do you want to engage your device at any particular time? You can set it for that. Do you want it to work in a cycle? Do you want it to go in intervals? On or off? I have my humidifier set on a schedule so that at 4 o'clock every day, it goes off for 60 seconds and it disperses the humidity in my dome. Just 60 seconds once a day. I leave it at the schedule on the whole time. If I go to the off mark, well, it turns it off and it's no longer active. If it's off, nothing's active. On, I can change everything individually, but I prefer to keep it on the schedule so that I know at this time it's gonna go off. If you want to change the brightness on the display, you could do so by cycling through the display. I like everything on full brightness. Once you start playing with this, it is very easy to use. One test that I think is very important is the durability test. Us as gardeners really do challenge the limits of our devices because we really put them through the ringer of abuse, from getting wet, from being dropped. We're gonna try to make sure we test everything properly so that we can ensure that we know exactly what we're getting ourselves into before we buy it. Now, because we're typically putting these up on our tents that are about, I'm about 8 feet tall. And our tents are about, about that tall too. So we wanna make sure that if we're gonna be testing the durability, that we're really testing to see if it was to fall from this height and hit the concrete, would it survive? So let's give it a shot. First things first, let's go from like a waist height. We'll drop it on the display from waist height in 3, 2, 1. So on the initial tests, that's actually a fingerprint on the side, but no real damage. Now, I suppose the question is, does it work? Since my humidifier is not actually plugged in, it's going off, but let's just plug this in. And it reads. It's on. The thermometer's not plugged in, so there's no gauges, but the display works, and I think it's fair to say that it is working. Let's test higher. Let's assume that we were putting this up, and this is about as high as the top of the controller mount goes. So dropping from 25 feet, 3, 2, 1. So, immediate looks, nothing actually wrong with the display. Again, a fingerprint in the middle. No obvious damage. Let's see if it works. Okay, plug this in. Plug everything in just to make sure. Working. And in fact, it still kept the schedule going as well. So it just cut out the humidifier. So not only did it survive the durability test, it still kept the schedule and cut out the humidifier as soon as it was plugged in. That's impressive.
So for the next test, we're gonna do a humidity test. We're gonna see how much this controller can endure in regards to moisture over an extended period of time. In my propagation tent, I have this humidity dome that has the humidifier hooked up to it. I am going to release humidity onto this controller in this environment for 12 hours. Set up a little time lapse here so that you could watch it. Unfortunately, I should have known that the moisture would block the humidity or the sight of the gauge, but you can kind of see the gauge still running throughout the time. I thought I'd check in with it every couple of hours just to see how things were going, and I got a little bit worried when I could not see the gauge in there. However, as I start to look at it, I can kind of see a little bit of a 7, and it looks like it switches to 80%. So it's still working as of this very moment. It's been 12 hours, and I want to see, is it still working? I see light, things look positive, but there is a lot of water collected around the controller. I was a little bit worried, but nonetheless, here it is, still working, still functional after 12 hours of humidity pumped into one area. Safe to say that if you were to spill a little bit of water on this, it would probably be okay. Now, would it still function properly after, say, weeks or months in this kind of condition? No, probably not. I think corrosion will take over and it won't work, but for peace of mind knowing that if you dropped it into a bucket of water, it's gonna work just fine.
And that is the review and durability test of the Controller 69 Pro. Put this thing through the ringer. It came out unscathed. I'm quite impressed. Like I said, I've been using this for a few months. We'll see if I can get a few more months out of it after all of the damage we've done to it, but I want to remind everyone that ACINFINITY, although a sponsor of this channel, did not ask me to make this video. They did not tell me what to say, but were kind enough to provide a promo code and discount for anyone who wants to pick up a device or anything from their website. Just go to ACINFINITY.com, use promo code PIGEONS420, and save yourself a few dollars off at checkout. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, throw a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let me know what you want to see reviewed and tested next. Thanks so much, guys. I'm out of here. Stay medicated. Much love. We'll see you next time. Peace.